Welcome, everyone, to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. In Hebrew, name is Abitchonistim. IDSF is the leading Israeli organization advocating for strong national security to defend Israel. It's a great pleasure to be joined today by Lieutenant Colonel Gidi Harari, who is a resident of the North in Israel. And Gidi, it's a pleasure to be able to speak with you to hear
Thank you very much.
what you're going through and what the residents of the North are going through. This new campaign, really to push back Hezbollah, is really for the residents of the North to bring the 60,000 home. So what can you share with us about what it's like being in the North right now? Before we talk about what your thoughts are on the IDF activities in Lebanon, just what is it like right now for residents of the North? Do you feel the country is with you? Do you feel the added pressures of all of this fighting right now?
Well, first of all, I live in a moshav, in a small town, in a village named Shar Yeshuv, which is near Kiryat Shmone, about almost 2 miles or 1.5 miles from the border with Lebanon. And actually, we are in a state of war since October 8th. And the escalation started from October 8th till today. Our zone was evacuated, including our own village. It's a village that usually they live here around 600 or 700 people. Most of them left. At first, we were left here only 70 people, and part of the people are starting to coming back, although the escalation, we are about 250 people today in the Moshav. And the issue is that the people prefer to be at home than to be in some kind of hotel or some guest house, or even in apartments that are hiring apartments. They prefer to be at home, and most of it, the children are missing home very much, so they are coming back. Me, myself, as the head of the emergency team in the Moshav, which are taking care of the civilians, I'm not happy with it, but in the other hand, I can understand that the need of the people to be at home, the children to be with their friends, and to feel the security of a home. So it's not easy. They are shooting every day rockets and drones, and the Israeli Air Force is flying above us. So it's a state of war, and we are living in a war zone, but people prefer to be at home. This is the truth.
Now, since this campaign began, what was it, last Thursday or so, are there less rockets coming to your area?
It's hard to say because it's changing every day, and I think I'm not familiar with the numbers now, but I think that they are shooting less to our area, to the border, to the towns that are close to the border, but they didn't forget us. They remember us, and every day they're shooting at Kiryat Shmone and the villages around, and we're living in a war zone, as I told you, and it's not fun. It's not fun.
Sure not. Now, for many, many months, the residents of the North, by and large, felt neglected by the government, that the entire focus was on Gaza, and they were displaced. So I'm curious, what is the feeling right now? Do the residents feel like finally the army is coming to do something for us, or now that there's more fighting, there's just this sense of concern what will be?
Most of the inhabitants in the north, they think that the military maneuver is the most important thing to bring them home. And they are ready to, let's say, to suffer the consequences of a military campaign in the north, but they want to resolve the problem that we have with Hezbollah. This is really what most of us are thinking. Although the truth should be said, and it doesn't matter what we are doing now, the idea is not to go to a full-scale war. The idea is just to do some maneuver, starting with the Air Force, and if there is no, if we see that it doesn't go anywhere, so I believe that the IDF will decide to go for a ground maneuver. But the idea is to do some maneuver that will be about 10 to 20 kilometers inside Lebanon, just to push the Hezbollah to the north. In order to finish with this terror organization, it's a full-scale war, and it means to not only war with Lebanon, but also with Iran, and it might take more than a year. And neither Israel nor Hezbollah or Iran are not interested in doing that now, in going to a full-scale war. And the idea is to make Hezbollah, or better said, to make Nasrallah to understand that when he's looking at the situation, he will understand that he's losing more than what he's gaining. The Iranian regime has invested in Hezbollah billions of dollars, and they have not invested it in order to waste it to help the Palestinians in Gaza or just to fight Israel. The idea is that all this huge arsenal of rockets and whatever is in order to prevent Israel from attacking the nuclear project in Iran. So all the parties doesn't want to go now to a full-scale war. We are now finishing the first year fighting in the Gaza Strip and also here in the north. Don't forget that the civilians, but also the military, needs to renew his capabilities and forces. And this is not, I think, at least I think that it's not the right time to go out in a full-scale war. But yes, we can, and we are giving a very, very strong and hard strike to Hezbollah the last week, starting with the beepers, afterwards with the walkie-talkies, and hitting the HTVs, the high HVTs, the high-value targets like Fuad Shukur and Ibrahim Akil. And today, an hour ago, apparently it looks that we've killed the head of the rocket division of Hezbollah in Beirut. So I believe that there is a lot of pressure now on Hezbollah and also on Nasrallah personally. Why? Because Nasrallah, first of all these so-called, let's say, generals, yes, they are not really generals, but the heads of Hezbollah that were around him, and they are all very close friends of him from the days they founded Hezbollah, and he is left almost alone. And I think also that the Iranians might see that their most important and powerful proxy in the Middle East is spending billions of dollars on a war that they are not interested in it. And they might tell him, listen, Mr. Nasrallah, it's time to you to retire, and maybe we'll bring someone else instead of you. So I think that Nasrallah personally is in a very, very complicated position now. And we need to go on pressuring more and more.
It's such a fascinating analysis that at the end of the day, as you said, Hezbollah is there to protect Iranian assets, namely the development of their nuclear program. If that is the case, and if the Iranian nuclear program is an existential threat against not only Israel, but the West, wouldn't it make sense that now is the moment for Israel to go all out on Hezbollah? Meaning there is this weakness within Hezbollah, there's this progress being made. Why should Israel stop at this point? If Israel stops, then Hezbollah and Iran have time to replenish, to re-energize, to fill out their ranks and come back stronger. I mean, if it really is all about Iran, shouldn't Israel go all the way right now?
First of all, because we don't have the allies that will go with us. Because if we start the whole war, the full-scale war in Lebanon, the Iranians will come to help them. And the US is not ready to go to a full-scale war against Iran now. Of course, because of the elections in November. And I'm not sure neither Vice President Harris or Mr. Trump, I'm not sure what is the position about it. I'm not so sure. Well, let's say Kamala Harris, I believe that she wouldn't do it. And Trump, it depends how how he wakes up in the morning, but we are not in a state of starting a full-scale war. The British, the United Kingdom are not with us. The German were not with us. The French are not with us. Actually, what I feel very disappointed because of the hypocrisy of the Europeans, although it's not the first time. But I thought that they are already understanding that the radical Islam is pointing towards Europe and is already in Europe. And they should be interested in finishing this issue, at least like Israel and more than the US. And this is the way that they are speaking. I just heard the in charge of the external relations from the EU telling that in a press conference, he says that it's a crime against the humanity, and that Israel is now moving all the population from south of Lebanon to the north. And what about the 100 Israelis that left their homes 1 year ago? He's forgetting it. The issue is that Israel as a country, as a liberal and modern country, all these refugees that came from the north and from the Gaza Strip, they are the country, the state is helping them by giving them money and by putting them in houses and hotels. And those poor Lebanese people, no one helps them. So what? I don't have to take care of them. They started this war, not Israel started the war with Lebanon. So hearing the Europeans talking like this, how much can you be a hypocrite and lying to yourself more than everyone and telling me that it's a crime against humanity? Come on.
No, absolutely. It's very disturbing to hear people talk like that. They're very disconnected from the reality on the ground. Okay, so I really appreciate your time in answering these questions, and our viewers have so many questions. And to everyone who's watching this, thank you so much for sending in your questions in the Zoom chat or to my email, to my WhatsApp. It really helps guide these conversations. Gidi, so in your estimate, the goal is not a full-scale war, but enough to bring back the residents of the North to their homes. So I ask you, what does that look like? What has to happen on the ground in Lebanon? What needs to be done to Hezbollah so that the people of your moshav can all come back, the people of the North can feel safe and return home?
Let me say something, Moshe. I don't see an object of this campaign to bring the evacuate people to the north. This is not an object of the war. It's clear for me, and it's basic. These people has to come home. It's not an object of the war. The object of the war is make as severe damage to Hezbollah as we can right now, and to bring them to a position that they will understand that going on fighting now with Israel, at the end, they will lose everything. This is the idea. The idea is, look, they have already more than 5,000 injured people, and more than 1,000 killed people, Hezbollah. This is, although the organization is about 50,000 members, it's a huge number. It's a huge number, and they are losing every day. Every day they are losing high command officers there. So it's nothing that you can go easily through it. The idea is to make them, to take out of them the intention to fight with us. And I think that we can do it.
Now, I think in one of our previous briefings, you shared that there was a concern about an infiltration over the Israel-Lebanon border, Radwan fighters coming in a similar way that happened on October 7th in Gaza. So I'd be curious to know, if the rockets all stop being fired from Lebanon to Israel for days and days and days and weeks and months, so then it's clear there's some level of deterrence on the rockets. But how would the residents of the North have the confidence to know that there wouldn't be an infiltration, so to speak? What measure of assurance is there for people to return to their homes without that concern?
People need to know and need to see that there is enough soldiers on the border to take care of this issue of infiltrations. Although, of course, there is no 100% insurance that it will not happen, but people understand it and know it, and they know that they're living in the border. They are not living in Tel Aviv. If the IDF will show them that there is enough army on the border to take care of any problem that can be developed on the border, people will come back. At the end of the day, although the 7th of October, what happened in the Gaza Strip, the people of Israel believe in the IDF, because the IDF is the people of Israel. It's the reserve army is bigger than is a bigger part of the army. It's us. It's not anyone else. So yes, people believe in it. And of course, we have to take measures better than we had taken in the South to be prepared, because they will, if it's not Hezbollah, it will be another one. They will try to invade Israel. They will try to kill us. They don't want us here. They will never love us. It's not a matter of, so we'll need to take measures that it won't happen.
I want to ask you a very technical question. Can you comment at all about your knowledge of tunnels in southern Lebanon, or potentially tunnels that are accessing Israel? Is that a serious concern, tunnels of Hezbollah?
Well, I don't think that there is someone that knows or doesn't know, because we believe that there are no tunnels reaching inside Israel. But after what happened in the Gaza Strip, it's easier to cross the border through the sorry, I lost you. It's easier to cross the border through the fence than through the tunnels. Here in the north, it's very, very hard to build these tunnels. It's not the sand like in the south. I believe that the tunnels, it was a strategic arm, but today in the north, I don't think that Hezbollah sees it as a strategic way to attack Israel. They need the tunnels in the north to put the ammunition there. They use it in order to shoot rockets and all of this. But to attack Israel from the tunnels, it might be, but it's not. I don't believe that it's a massive way to attack Israel.
Thank you so much. I think we have time for one or so more questions. I want to ask you about the weather, because you live up in the north. How does the changing of the seasons and potential fog and rain affect this war? Does it make it more difficult for the IDF to maneuver? Do we have a certain deadline in terms of operations in the north because of the change of the season and the weather?
First of all, the weather didn't change here yet. The weather is better. It's not so hot, but it's better. And here in the north, it's not that we are going to have a tanks campaign or tanks battles in Lebanon like we had in Sinai Desert. So a little bit of mud, it doesn't concern. There is fog. The fog started already, and this is something that, yes, we need to take care very much, especially in the early morning in the mountains. They can come very close to us, but well, the soldiers know about it. They know how to behave and how to take care of it.
Lieutenant Colonel Gidi Harari, thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Moshe.
joining me today, for sharing of your experience, your wisdom, and for staying in the north.
Thank you very
and
much.
for protecting our northern border, and for encouraging Israelis to come back home. It's really a beautiful thing. I hope that we can call upon you again to join these briefings and share what is happening
Thank
in
you.
your area. Thank you to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning into this briefing. We will be back with you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. here in Israel. Until then, stay safe, stay strong. Take care, everyone.
Bye.